And I actually have the main man himself with me on the line right now. This is David. Hello, David. Can you hear me?
Hi, Dylan. Hi, lovely people of Limerick. Yeah, David. David is my first name, or my nickname is Cribbo, but yeah, you can call me whatever you want.
So I want to thank you very much for coming on, especially for just kind of a special last show. This was kind of late notice, but I'm very honoured that you would come on to speak to us.
Oh, not at all, not at all. Thank you for having me. Just great to get on to get onto brilliant radio shows like yourself and try and connect with people across Ireland. You're doing a very good job. So thanks very much for having me on.
I suppose to get us started, to get the ball rolling, how would you kind of describe yourselves for people that don't know? I know you kind of go for a bit of a punk rock kind of thing, but specifically, where do you think your standing is in the whole scene?
Yes, it's difficult. We've been playing a few gigs around Dublin now with various punk nights with hardcore purist punk bands that I think we wouldn't be as hardcore as them, or we'd have I think there's a bit more melody in our songs to be classified as hardcore as punk. Let's say I would put ourselves in the arena of indie punk more than anything. It's more of a fun kind of punk kind of style, and hopefully kind of songs that can get people singing along to and bopping along to. But yeah, comparing to other punk bands that we've seen lately over the past few weeks or so, we're thinking, no, we're not as hardcore as that, but hopefully something more accessible or more, I don't mean to say mainstream, but something that people can maybe relate to a lot more, maybe. Inspiration-wise, I suppose I've been inspired by from a very young age. Oasis, that was my first band who I was absolutely obsessed with. I listened to them for about 10 years straight without any other band interfering. And then Radiohead as well, and other bands. I like basically any bands with energy or originality about them. I try to write in that kind of style where basically a song can give off a good energy or a good vibe, or even if they have like the dark undertones, I'd like to
kind of the basic version of it, is it?
Sorry?
Kind of create a kind of a certain atmosphere, I suppose, is what you're trying to do.
Yeah, trying to create there's lyrically there's a bit of maybe some lyrics have a bit of angst in them, but it's always written with a kind of a positive kind of outlook, or a positive trying to create a positive impact, or I suppose a kind of I guess to be motivated by, or to be kind of say, okay, I've had a tough time, but I'm going to get on with it. This is my life. I'm going to take
about like getting so you'd say a lot of your music is about like kind of getting through things and kind of carrying on and things like that.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of songs there that off our EP, In Between the Lines, which will be released soon. I wrote there's a period in my life there quite a while ago now, and it seems like a different lifetime, but I remember going through a period of anxiety. Now, I don't want to say depression, but there was a kind of a feeling or a period in my life where I felt almost alone, or against the world, or the world was kind of against me. Kind of everything seemed to be going wrong, and hence there's a track off the EP called Me Against the World, or Valediction. The track you just played might sound like a love song, or whatever, but that's basically about trying to get away from a rut that you're in, or trying to get away from negative people in your life, but you can't help but be stuck in that rut. So
mental health is kind of a big theme of the EP then?
Not really, no. I won't say an overall theme. There's a couple of songs there that will be, and I don't want to be delving into the mental health aspect. I don't want to be kind of, I suppose, using that as a sales point or anything like that, but it's just I've written it from my own perspective on life through certain times in my life, and it was inspired by, let's say, low points in my life and high points in my life. Then there's other songs, like the next track I think everyone plays, Arcadian Ego. That's more of a philosophical track. That was inspired by basically, I guess, where we are in the universe, and what we as humans on this earth are, our place in the whole grand scheme of things. And then there's other songs, like I think everyone plays Arcadian Ego. That's more of a philosophical track. That was inspired by basically, I guess, where we are in the universe, and what we as humans on this earth, our place in the whole grand scheme of things. And then there's where we can all fit in, or where we should fit in, or the fact or the possibility that we don't fit in at all, and the kind of futility of caring or worrying too much about the petty things.
So would I be correct in saying that overall the EP is kind of about getting on with life, getting on through things, but you kind of look at that through kind of different perspective through each of the songs? Some are about anxiety, some are about our place in the world, and kind of looking at it from a bunch of different perspectives. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, no, it's not. There's a couple of songs about, I suppose, where I was feeling in regards to a certain period in my life. Now, this is going back 5 years ago or whatever. I wasn't in a happy place. Now, I was doing a lot of maybe drinking and partying, and that didn't really help matters. But it was kind of a state of mind that I was in that I kind of put pen to paper to write about. And instead of kind of writing songs feeling sorry for myself and woe it's me and the world hates me and all that, I spin that around and basically say, I'm going to put this bad energy and kind of, suppose, refocus it into a good energy to basically say, feck you all, and this is who I am, or this is where I am, this is what I am. So the Me Against the World song on the EP, that does have it starts off with a very self-pitying kind of tone. It starts off very, very slow, and then it builds up into a very angst-driven punk ethos, which basically says, "Fecky, it's me against the world, and I'm going to take you head on." Whereas then there's other two songs off the EP called "Rat in a Maze" and "Arcadian Ego." Both of them are more of a world-renowned, universal kind of theme or a universal question of life. For example, "Rat in a Maze," there's 3 verses. First verse is "I need some love." Second verse is starts off with "I need some grade or cash," and the third verse is "I need some faith or religion." So basically, those are 3 kind of verses where you kind of, I suppose, human beings strive to, or to think that they need love, or to think that they need money, and to think that they need faith or some sort of religion to kind of make their life purposeful. So there's the 3 verses in that song that I kind of write about in an overall or an overarching universal philosophy, or my thoughts on it anyways. And then Arcadian Ego is basically, it was inspired by basically me in a barber once looking at a fishbowl and wondering what the the universe inside of that fish's head, or what the universe means to that fish, compared to like outside of that fishbowl, there was a group of people playing on their smartphones or looking at their smartphones, getting their hair go. And basically, our place when it comes to maybe the idea of other dimensions or an afterlife or an existence, and where our existence in this planet or in this life, how that fits into an overall, I suppose, hopefully to a more prolonged existence after our physical life on this earth.
Kind of a more fulfilling kind of existence, basically, is what it's all about.
Yeah, well, the chorus goes, "Sing for your life, dance for your soul. I can't deny Arcadian Ego." Basically, just sing while you can, dance while you can, and enjoy life while you can. And the verses are basically more posing questions about what makes you human, what makes your life relevant to you, and basically to what makes life relevant to the majority of people. I can't remember the lyrics of the verse at the moment, but the chorus is then it's all about sing for your life and dance for your soul, because basically you don't know when or what you're living for, and what relevance your life will have in the overall universal plan.
To what kind of extent you've said that you have a lot of inspirations like Radiohead and Arctic Monkeys, but how much do you think that your work actually takes from them and all those famous artists, and how much of it do you think is like your own original style?
Yeah, that's kind of difficult. I wrote Me Against the World because and it was basically me trying to write a 2 + 2 = 5 song from Radiohead, where it starts off kind of slow and it kicks off into a kind of an angst-ridden kind of punk song. So I tried to write my best. I tried my best to write a song like that, and I came out with Me Against the World. That I've been told that sounds Radioheadish. In regards to Oasis songs, I try to write as original as possible. So if I think a structure is too kind of, let's say, formulaic, like for the likes of bands like Oasis to have kind of traditional structures such as a verse, bridge and chorus and then repeat, which is obviously very successful. People can relate to that. People can sing along to that. I do think that maybe, unless it's a ballad, and I've written a few ballads as well, and it suits ballad format. But when I'm writing a rock song, I do, and my bandmates know very well about the originality for use of a better word, or for use of a worse word, because they just think it's plain awkward when I'm trying to relay to them how the song goes. They'd be thinking they'd be telling me back, saying back to me that the timing is not traditional, or the timing isn't. It's very hard to follow. It's not easy, I suppose, to try and explain to a band how it goes, because I try to be original. Like, so I write a verse and then I try and throw in a bridge that sounds somewhat compatible to the rest of the song. But I'd like to kind of mix up the song a bit to try and make it sound a bit more original, or to try to make it more imaginative,
Make it more, so basically to kind of taking out the kind of bass that those artists created and kind of putting a more kind of experimental spin on it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd be maybe a bit ambitious to say it was experimental. Yeah. It's not. We're not stepping away too much from the traditional band with bass, drums, etc. We don't have any other instruments there involved. On the recordings we do. Our bassist Paul, he's a very talented producer, so he's and Liam, the whole band are very creative. They're very vocal when it comes to little bits to add in, and they've volunteered very, very, very good ideas with regards to the production of the EP. But in regards to the songwriting style, I wouldn't say it's experimental, but I do try to, I suppose, be a bit more original. Now, the songs on the EP, okay, Me Against the World, does start off slow, and it changes momentum, and it changes tempo and melody very, very quickly. So that would probably be the most original sounding track on the EP. Rat in a Maze has 2 verses and a chorus, and another third verse and a chorus, and the last song is kind of a verse, bridge, chorus as well. But the other tracks that are coming down the line are more, I suppose, they're a bit more less traditional. I won't say experimental, but less traditional, I would say.
Can you give me a bit of an outline as to the gigs that you performed recently, and do you have any kind of funny stories or maybe kind of highlights from any of those gigs?
Okay, so we've been playing gigs in just predominantly around the city centre, like Fibber McGee's in Parnell Street. We started off there in November, October.
Can you tell me
the bands
whereabouts in Dublin you're from?
I'm from Longford originally. The lads are from Dublin. We all live in the city. The majority of the band live on the south side. They live near Dunleary. I don't know where our guitarist lives, but I live just on the Navan Road there.
Oh yeah, just to kind of give our audience a bit of an idea, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We've been playing the gigs that we have a few gigs coming up, but they've been all predominantly so far. They've been in Fibber McGee's in Parnell Street. We played there last week in the Wild Duck in Temple Bar. That was kind of an all-day punk festival. It goes on every couple of weeks, I think. The organizer of that is trying to bring back alternative Sunday social clubs, which used to be big in his day, and always pull a good crowd. We were there last week. We were meant to be on at 4:00, and there wasn't a sinner in the place. Now, due to tech issues, we were kind of delayed. So by 5:00, when we got the tech issues sorted out, the crowd, the pub had filled in, and there was a good crowd, and there's a good following that goes there now, and hopefully we'll be back there again soon. We're playing again now next week in Fibber McGee's as well. We're supporting the brilliant Juice They're a Rory Gallagher tribute band, so catch them if you can. They're absolutely amazing. They're the best tribute band I've ever seen, and we're lucky enough to play support to those guys. And then we're also playing support to the amazingly talented. They're upcoming now, and they're very they're making a lot of inroads in Dublin. They're called Primitive Machine. They won a battle of the bands there, and as their prize, they basically got Chin A. They're just there on the Keys as a venue. But we're playing there on the 24th of May, supporting them. And then our EP launch then will be 2 weeks after that, Thursday the 6th of June, in the Underground on Dame Street, just beside Pater Carney's. Thursday the 6th of June, we'll be launching our EP, Between the Lines.
All right, well, that's very interesting. I suppose for our listeners, when they're kind of finished with exams, now is a very kind of busy time of year, so when we're kind of all finished with exams and things like that, it might be good to make the trip to Dublin and to see Arcadian Shadows. Yeah,
absolutely. We'll be like I've been working the social media networks and getting gigs for the band. We've only got one track up on Spotify at the moment, so the EP launch will be coming soon, so we'll have the full EP up there. Yeah, I've been doing well getting gigs just by messaging people, and Facebook's great for that kind of crack now. It's just you just get to message people. They'll ask you for your stuff if they like it, and a lot of people have liked our stuff so far, and I've been just getting gigs that way. So hopefully the long line of gigs can continue into June and the summer.
I suppose kind of keeping on to the subject of the EP and the launch of the EP and all that, were there any kind of big challenges in terms of recording the EP, or was it just kind of another day at the office, kind of get the job done sort of thing?
There were challenges recording. There were some. We all work full time. The majority of the band works full time, so it's just getting together every week, trying to get a time and go into the studio. Our bassist is a full time musician, so he was kind of touring a lot with his band, and it was just trying to get time together so we can actually come. And we got a few final mixes back, and it just. I suppose being in a band is a young person's game. When you're not employed, you don't have any responsible commitments. So you have a lot of free time in your hand to basically sit down together and work out and trash out the EP and trash out any grievances or any things that you feel any improvements that you want to be made to the EP. So there's just basically, I suppose communication was a big thing where. We'd get a final mix back from our producer. We'd make these suggestions. He'd come back. He'd make those suggestions. But because everybody was basically, we had only 1 day a week basically to meet up, and I don't think texting on WhatsApp. I suppose we had a band meeting, and that was the most productive. That was when we all kind of kicked off. Like a band meeting, as opposed to not playing music, we're not jamming around, and we just talk things out, and that basically helped us to kind of focus our energies and basically communicate better as to what we want done. So the challenges basically was, I suppose, just getting everyone together on the same page. In a kind of a more focused kind of way, but we got there in the end. It took a while, but we got there. And there's also we've a lot of very opinionated people in the band. So there's people that liked some sort of stuff or things about the EP. There's other people that didn't like them. So it's all about getting a consensus on the overall end product. And now we're all very happy with it now. The only thing is now though, the track that's up on Spotify is slightly at a lower volume, but we'll have the Valediction, the track on a new EP that will be brought up to, I suppose, a standard volume that's on Spotify. We're just working on that at the moment, but the whole EP with the single Valediction, which is a single that's up now, that will be on the new EP coming up in the next few weeks.
All right, great stuff. I'm sorry to say that we're actually out of time. I just wanted to thank you very much for coming on. And just before we go, for the students of Limerick, where can they find more from you?
Yeah, we're up on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We update those. We update that quite regularly. I'm in the process of maybe getting a website up as well. We're thinking about creating a website. We'll probably get up on Twitter soon as well. I just didn't know if Twitter was a good forum for bands. I don't really see many bands on apart from Liam Gallagher, but we're on Instagram and Facebook anyways, and the usual. And we don't have and we're on Reverb Nation as well. They're kind of a website for bands, and we're going to be up on Bandcamp soon as well. But for the meantime, we're on Facebook and Instagram, Arcadian Shadows.
Okay, well, this is David from Arcadian Shadows. Watch this space. They have a lot coming up. And thank you very much, David, for coming on to speak to me.
Thank you very much, Dylan.
Thanks very
Take
much.
Care.
Goodbye.
Thanks.